Hey, this is Wave Sage. Let's do a market update. Like always, none of this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Just use this for your education and entertainment purposes only. So a lot of people think this is a sell-off, a multi-month sell-off. The crash has started. Again, another example of people trying to top tick this market. Overall, this is just another buying opportunity. I believe there's a surge higher coming. I believe we're going to have an incredible move coming that's higher that nobody is expecting or anticipates based on the charts and individual stocks that I track. So just understand that the move that I think is going to fool a lot of people is actually going to be higher, and I think a lot higher. I think this market is going to go much higher before we get any kind of crash situation. Right now, the count I have is a 1-2-1-2 now. I did mention we can watch this flat play out. Now, we never broke this high here on the 28th. We never broke the high of the 21st. So the flat is still in play. This is still in play. That's why I have this area shaded. But whatever is happening here is correct in the entire cycle, but it's very shallow. However, we also need to be careful that the market's ready to surge higher, like right now, if this is a 1-2-1-2. Okay, and that count supported because we have not broken these RSI pivots yet, but we'll keep an eye on it. And if it does break down, we'll look for that flat. We'll look for this flat. But once this is done, that's wave 2, and then you still have 3 to go, much higher. The SPY is also in a 1-2-1-2 at the moment, and again, could be a flat. So we do have a buy area here at 504 if we can drop, but we would need to see some massive downside tomorrow, and it just doesn't look like it. So it looks like we have a 1-2-1-2 setup. Again, a higher low, so it supports the 1-2-1-2. The triple Qs, same thing, another 1-2-1-2. Look how shallow these dips are, how bullish this market is. This is very typical for wave 3, right, of wave 3. And again, if we can fall out tomorrow, again, we'll go into a flat and an ABC. So the market probably tomorrow will make the decision, is it a flat or not? And if it is not a flat, you can expect massive short squeeze. Everyone's offside. Everyone's like thinking, this is the correction because I'm so smart and I know the market's going to correct when I sell everything and I'm going to buy back in lower. It just never works like that. So what did I do today? I did a lot of buy-in today. A lot of buy-in. There's a lot of opportunity out there if you choose to look for it. And there was a lot. So there's some shopping today and have money to go put to work if we do get this flat, which would be a massive gift in the market if we get this flat. IWM, just a bigger cycle correcting in this wave 2. Let's take a look at the short time frame. You could see there's your 3-wave move here. So you could put that there. Now, you could also put it here. Then you may be able to push 5 waves, and if that's 5, then you get a deeper 2 down to 197. I don't know where we'll end up with it, other than I wouldn't be surprised if the market does the flat, that the Russell does drop to 196. But again, this was a massive cycle reset, right? This is a massive cycle reset. Massive cycle reset. So I think you can say that's the pivot there. Anyway, then let's take a look at what else is going on internationally. Hang Seng, something we're keeping an eye on. We want to see this breakout where we're starting to get close to that breakout. Bitcoin is doing some tricky maneuvers here. So we have this 4-wave, and then we have some kind of 5-wave move up, and then a 3-wave move down. So I say as long as we're above the 64,000 area, we should start to see the wave 3, and we should be heading to 80,000. Now, if we do drop, it would be a double correction in wave 4, and we should hit 58,900 or 58,000. So this is an area where the market is going to have to figure out what it wants to do. My guess is it's going to push higher and not lower. this is kind of where I think Bitcoin's heading in the next 6 months, kind of like up, sideways, and down. Of course, the surprise move for me would be is if it just extends and accelerates and this becomes another 1-2, 1-2, and we had a 3-3 and it goes parabolic, which is very possible. Of course, oil, really defying reality, massive short squeeze. We've come out of the bear flag. I guess, most people would say that's negated. That's negated this bear flag pattern. So we'll just, we can't really trade that, but it's still the same cycle. We're still in the same leg. It's still in a short area. So it's still in danger of a dramatic reversal at any moment. And I'm not sure what news would trigger that. If we could break $90, then the connector is extending in X, the bit larger degree connector, and then that should get us to prices of $120 of oil. But that would also be a connector. It's not likely to see that, but you'll have to do what's best for you. It is tricky, but I do think the oil is still in a sell area. It's still a sell opportunity in the energy space. It's not a FOMO opportunity quite yet. But again, X, bigger picture, could easily extend. We could easily do something like that. And then just have 3, a connector, and then 3 up, hit 120 up this area, and then massive drawdown. So we'll have to wait and see what the market wants to do. There. And then silver surging higher. What a great trade that was. If you've been following me on all my videos, we were going long down in this area here in February. We weren't going to get shaken out. They tried. The shorts were losing control of the market, and I have a video where I was telling you this price action was literally whoever's the Aladdin of the silver market that loves to manipulate the silver market, they were losing control for the first time in possibly many years. They used to be able to just drive the price around, and they're losing control. And now I think it's safe to say they've lost control. So this silver market is a massive breakout opportunity. It could continue to extend for quite a while. And since this has been in such a correction and consolidation for so long, this bull market may be a generational bull market starting that goes on for many years, like 2030, 2031, 2030. I mean, this could be in a bullish trend for decades now. Of course, there'll be ups and downs, but it could be in a bullish trend has been born. And that was that video I said was one of the most critical updates with the Fed, right? I said they chose inflation, and the market is like, yep, you chose inflation. You're going to do that. That's what the Fed decided. You're going to pump the markets inadvertently because you're going to choose inflation, potentially risk hyperinflation. And now gold and silver are surging and not looking back, and they won't. They're going to call the Fed's bluff to see if they really have the appetite for deflation to collapse it and get this inflation down, but I don't think they will. I think this is what the market is telling you. And gold is also in wave 3 of this cycle, and it's just going to keep extending, guys. We never got the dip. And again, look how shallow this wave 2 was compared to the wave 1. This is what's happening in the indices, by the way, guys. And I do expect a move similar in the indices is coming that looks something like this. I think right now in the indices, we're in this kind of congested period, and everyone's like, sell, it's the top, oh my God, it's going to crash. And I think we'll eventually come out of it with a move like that. So then the 10-year was a break on that pivot that really spooked the market. But we're still in, I still believe we're in this wave 2. It can actually push higher to 4.46. I think if it does that, you'll get that flat in the indices. But now the swings are done. It can actually truncate at any moment and finish this cycle. It does not have to go to 4.6. All we need to do is erase divergence, and it looks like we really close to call on the daily. Let's look at the weekly. The weekly has done that. So this cycle can end at any moment. This wave 2, it does not have to push higher. It may not. There's your downtrend line. I don't have it drawn perfectly, but it's very close to that rejection area. Here you have 1, 2, 3 for a wave. and then you have a connector, and then 1, 2, 3. So it's pretty much the swings are done. It could easily reverse. It does not have to push higher, and if that's the case, the market will go higher, and the Russell will surge if this happens, if this plays out. And then the dollar index, real quick. Again, going into the back to the triangle. Now that we broke this high, this C leg could go to 106, but trying to figure out how this triangle contracts is really, it's really tricky. And again, you have the swings now that C can be finished at any moment. It almost looks like it is, and it's done. And it made that 1, 2, 3 swings higher. So I would be looking for a pullback now to 1017. That would be really good for the market. And this is kind of what the dollar should now do, what I'm thinking. And really, I'm not looking to sell the indices, not even sell any position anywhere until the dollar index is at 93 or lower. This has to all play out. Then this should be upside for the market as this plays out. And then the VIX did pop a little bit higher. That just delayed us from getting to our target, but now it's reset the VIX to go lower. And I do think the VIX will continue lower despite this little pop. I think the pop's irrelevant, and I believe we are going to trend lower and eventually get into this area. Let's shade it. All right, so that's all the indices, guys. Let's go to some technology stocks that also support the market. Apple, if you've been following me. So Apple did break this low, so that makes we're in 5 waves, which means this is a big flat here. And the flat is almost finished, guys. This flat should be almost finished. Again, it does not have to break this low at 165. It just needs to break this low, and it did. And now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have your 5th wave. So this can end at any moment for Apple. And the markets can't crash if Apple isn't going to crash, guys. And that's one of your signs that says if Apple's going to surge higher in a 3 of 3 of the grand super cycle, then more than likely the indices are going to surge higher. Okay, so that's just something to keep in mind. And then Tesla, again, is a nail biter. It's trying to retest this low, and it held. The sentiment, I would say, on this leg down was even worse than this leg. So you have this hidden bullish divergence in sentiment. I've never seen sentiment so bad in Tesla in the last few days, but yet it made a higher low. Think about that. Tesla made a higher low, but sentiment made a lower low, essentially. Sentiment is through. You would think Tesla was trading double digits and not triple digits based on the sentiment I was hearing on TV. And sentiment's even worse than it was here at 104. So this, to me, is still holding up. It'll be very interesting if this can come out of this and surprise and fool people. Now, if we do push lower in Tesla and break this low, like I said, it just corrects this swing. And so you would more than likely be going to 145 into this area. And then this is another area where it could find support for the wave 2 bottom. This little bump here only reset this cycle. It did not reset the whole leg, which is good if you're bullish. So it doesn't. In my opinion, it's still pretty bullish even if this low breaks, but it does bring you down to 140. Right now, it's holding. That's all you need to know. Adobe's another one to keep an eye on. And again, it could still drop to 473, but it's holding on. And it could easily been done here at 480. I don't really care. I like to accumulate pretty much where I'm circling, where my cursor is going is a massive accumulation area. I like to build a large position in Adobe in this area. So just I don't really care what it's doing here. And then there's some other opportunities out there that I'll just mention that may work out. You know, do what's best for you. AI is in a looks like a pretty good area. If this is 5 waves up, you're between the 4 and the 2 today. That's usually the target between these overlapping waves when I see it. And so today, AI could have been an absolute great opportunity with a stop against 23. So it's a very low risk, high reward trade setup there. So just keep that in mind. IONQ is another one. It still has room to fall to $8, but at this point, I'm not trying to pick the bottom. So I'm just trying to, start to ladder in a little bit in this general area for a massive wave 3 higher. NVIDIA, keeping an eye on that. If we are still in the wave 4, we could push down to 836, which would be a great long opportunity if we get that. Palantir is another great opportunity if we can get 2093. I may have already missed it. That may have been the low there at 2172. But if Palantir could drop to 2093, I really like to go long that Palantir for another 1-2-1-2 setup, ready for wave 3 of the grand super cycle on Palantir in this area. So really like if I can get that. RXARX is another one. Again, could go to $7, but this is kind of the general area where it's going to find a bottom somewhere in this area, more than likely. SMCI is another one that I have a extreme area here at 734 that could get hit, but more than likely 858 is the bottom. We'll keep an eye on it, but if it does some reason take a dump to 734, that would be a great opportunity to get it. Soundhound just changed from a 3-4 to another 1-2-1-2 setup. So if you're getting a deeper correction, so instead of a 1-2-3-4-5, you're getting a 1-2-1-2, which is even more bullish. But it's going to test your conviction. It's going to test your conviction, and you really have to just use stochastics to kind of guide your entry. As you can see, the daily still has more room to fall. I would want to see the daily hold above these levels, so it's getting close. And then the 4-hour is almost completely reset, which is ideal. And in fact, it'd be good if we could take this pivot out at 32 and get oversold. So that's just another one to keep an eye on. And it's just you have to have really good conviction to want to hold this in this 1-2-1-2 setup. But that's what that's coming into. Symbiotic is another one that I like to keep an eye on here. This could also be a 1-2-1-2 setup, and I like to go long it against the stop at 36 in this area and above this trend line. But just keep in mind, if it does take a dump, then the risk is if you stop out, it could drop. So this one's pretty risky still. But for right now, it's been in a correction for quite a while, so I think it's due some upside soon. Keep an eye on Shopify. Won't FOMO in. Consumer discretionary is weak, and that could bring Shopify down. I do like Shopify at 67 if we can get down there, 65 ideally. So like to keep an eye on that. And then a couple other stocks out there. Let's take a look. PanW is about to break that low. See, remember everyone FOMO'd in, oh, this was the bottom, and they were pumping it on TV. You almost round trip the whole move, and I believe this low will break. And 206 is where to pick up PanW. So this was just a massive connector that trapped many people just watching TV and buying something just because they thought it didn't deserve it. But Elliott waves don't care whether you deserve it or not. Then let's take a look. Going back to our friend Fubu TV, we drew this chart up 3 or 4 weeks ago after we broke some pivots, and we look for that 4. Well, it looks like that 4 is done, and now we're in this 5th wave, and it can finish at any moment. This Fubu TV move. More than likely, I'm looking for a little bit deeper push in 5. I don't like this setup. It could even be still a triangle 4 that we're in. So that pushes lower. And of course, GME is a lesson in stop losses and why you use them in pivots, because it made a lower low, and now that broke, it should go into single digits. And I warned people about that when the pivots gave up, and why even good ideas sometimes don't work out, and you have to stop out and preserve your capital. You can't just ride something down or you could lose all your money. So you always stop out when your system tells you to. And again, where did the system say to stop out? Well, here, we had the low here, but as soon as we broke that low here with that lower low, we knew it was time to leave, and this was eventually going to end, and eventually this mess did end, and then we broke lower. And now it's a short opportunity for probably quite a while. Robinhood could have a shallow 2, guys. It could have a shallow 2 here. This 2 actually could be finished, especially if Bitcoin's going to go higher now. That you may not get that push to 17. We got to 1803, but this got bought up. But you may get a gift for a second chance entry if this is a connector here. So the entry you may be given, if you keep an eye on it, if we can break down, again, would be the 1703, 1644 area, this area here. So this would be a really good opportunity, and this would be a more typical correction and pattern The other, if it had finished already, that's very bullish and atypical, but that would really get us to prices much higher. That should get us into the mid 30s, which ultimately I think will hit 40 before we get some really major resistance in the chart. And then just kind of keeping looking through things. Nothing interests China. We can say keep an eye on I'm sorry, Baidu coming out of that wedge slowly. It's trying to work its way out. Neo again, just getting close. Could still be in this 4, but we're getting there. We want to see we don't want to see divergence erased. If we see that, then it's extending. And you can check AEHR and see what happens when it extends unexpectedly. So that's why bottom fishing like this is really risky and never recommended because there's really no setup. The best setup is wait till it finishes, late, then it surges higher, right? It surges higher in 5 waves, and then you buy the pullback against the low, and then you go long. That would be a better risk reward setup. You may not get the low, but you'll have some way to control your risk and not get wiped out like an AEHR did by just trying to bottom tick, where you think this thing's going to end. Okay, so that's that. Let's go to some ETFs real quick and just see. SPYD is another stock that's kind of telling me why we're going to continue higher and not lower, guys. I mean, we've coming out of a massive bull flag here that's gone on since April 22. We're just breaking out now, and then on top of that, we have a cup and handle that we're breaking out of here. A cup. A cup and a handle, and we're breaking out, and we're kind of trying to back test that a little bit. So this is very bullish setup. That should get us up to retest this high at 45, and if that high at 45 breaks, then you'll have a clear bull flag breakout, and that should get you up to 64. In the market in this leg, when it made the first move, the entire market was in a massive bull cycle from March 2020. So this is why I think the market has a lot more upside than people are giving it credit for right now. And the risk is shorting it and not going long, because there's stocks like this that are telling you that there's potential for more, much more upside, because you're not going to have a market crash unless the high dividend stocks crash, right? Energy is also making a move higher, breaking the high, but I would still be careful of a rug pull in that this is, again, some kind of really large degree flat correction with oil. Just be really careful that you're not in something like this in the XLE. So if you are, where would the XLE fail? So the question is, where would this move fail if you're in the XLE? I wouldn't short it, because there is always a chance that I can be wrong, but you would short it at 96.73. So today would have been the first short opportunity to try to play this flat, stopping out at 101 on the XLE. So energy is going to be very interesting if this was a massive bull trap for this flat. Now, if this flat does play out, this will be an amazing opportunity later for long positions. And this would be a better timing for the market to, this will allow the market to surge higher, because it seems like as energy runs, the market is weak. So this could, again, let the market run. And then the market tops out for real, and then you get a much bigger cycle, energy, and drawdown in the market later. So I like this look, but we'll need to see how it plays out if it can negate it. If we break 100, then I'll start to be concerned. Potentially we're negating it. We could find another target area for where this reversal could happen at 99. So 99 is another critical area right here. So we'll have to wait and see how this plays out in the next few days in the energy market. Let's kind of take a look if there's anything else here that's worth noting that I want to mention. Nothing here. Let's go to commodities stocks real quick. I know some people follow Chevron. See, Chevron is not in the short area yet at 164, so this is probably helping the XLE out a little bit right there. How's Devon doing? I know one of you guys follow me. And look, Devon's hitting our area. Look, just like we predicted. And yes, this wave 2 was that shallow. It was that bullish. This is why the RSI works to find the wave 2. So we found the wave 2. This just seems so bullish, but obviously that was the right call. So now we're in a 3 of 3, and we really don't have this 4 yet. So, you know, it would be a shocker to me to break through that resistance. That would actually be maybe the first sign that maybe energy has bottomed and we're wrong on the energy move, because look how this thing's been resistance so many times, and if it could just surge through it with no pushback from the market there, that's extremely bullish. So we should see a reversal soon in this fourth wave, and then get that fifth wave. That's what we're looking for, and then we should get a massive pullback. And maybe, yeah, maybe XLE makes a lower low, but maybe this doesn't break the low. Maybe oil makes a lower low, but this doesn't break the low, right? That's what I'm saying here, guys. On Devon. So we had a couple charts play out, you know, the way we wanted them to. Of course, the GDXJ has been amazing, but it has tested your conviction, right, here as you've gone through this correction. But we had the buy area, the accumulation, the double bottom, we called that, and then essentially a vertical move. And then we broke out of a massive downtrend line that goes back years. And of course, the market found support, and now it's pretty much vertical as we get a reversal out of this. So we clean this chart up. So we're in a wave 3 of 3, looking for that first wave 4. But that, again, this could have ended a multi-year, multi-decade bull market. And you may have saw that get born after the Fed meeting in March. And that's really when this took hold, guys. That's why I said that meeting in March was more critical than the Fed even realizes yet. It was more historic than they even realized, but I think in history they'll go back and go, that's when everything changed after that meeting. So that's the meeting where everything changed. They don't even realize it, but they will. Will they regret it? I don't know. They probably they were in a lose-lose situation, and I do think this is probably the lesser of two evils, choosing inflation over deflation. So they really had no choice to do that. So of course the miners are loving this, and we'll just go from there. Okay, and then healthcare real quick. Let's always like to check healthcare out, see if there's anything interesting. I was looking at Moderna here, the mRNA. Here we are, we're down in 3 waves, and this could have been your buy opportunity for another 1-2 setup in Moderna. That would also provide support for the XLV, because Moderna is a big component of that. And yeah, it hit tag 98, and we found support, and we pretty much V-bottomed. So more than likely, that is also a sign the market is more bullish, guys, if Moderna is ready to really break out in a 3 of 3 here. There's another stock here. How's Pod doing? Again, Pod, I look at Pod and I'm like, you know, we got this X, we got this Y here, you know, you got a bunch of congestion. So I am looking for a much longer term correction in Pod, but I do like to see it go higher. This would be pretty bearish if this is ended, but I do think it's got some more upside. And then, yeah, that's really all I want to say about healthcare. Pfizer, of course, is a generational opportunity, and it's something you're just going to have to be really super patient with, but eventually it will come out of this. You know, you put the 2 there, maybe you get really lucky and get 24, but this should be coming to a head, and I think this is in the SPYD as well, high dividend stock. Okay, then let's see if there's any other things I want to bring out and just keep an eye on. Let's go to crypto. We like crypto too. So let's look at Mara, right? Everyone's friend, Mara. Mara has been weak. We're starting. Could we see this sea leg finally finish up? Keep an eye on that. If we do get that dump, I would start to like to buy that once we're at that $14, $12 area, this general vicinity. I'm not going to be too picky. And then, of course, there's your friend Raya, you know, its cousin, which is a little harder chart to kind of forecast. But I do think it's going to tag 7 somewhere in this area, maybe as low as 6.64. It's interesting seeing LCN surge in some of these other stocks. And again, we tried to, you know, I mentioned that we would see more upside. We did get that upside here. And it looks like, you know, we either pull them back in this degree 4 for another 5 to finally get A, or I can tweak the labeling and call A finished, and we enter a multi-week correction in B, maybe even several months. But more than likely, if Bitcoin's going to run a little bit more than likely this will see 5, and then we get A, and then we get B later. Or again, it extends in another 1-2 setup here. Let's see if there's a short-term trade on LTCN and B. And so there looks like your connector is right around here, and you broke it. So if I was trying to day trade this thing, and I'm not day trading it, I'm not buying it, I'm not interested in buying this. But if you really were interested, if somehow it dumps to 28.92, 25, that would be the area to go long. Try to go long again. And then BCHG, same thing. We're probably going to break that low. So there's this connector is a lot more obvious to see if you're a day trader here. And then this one you'd be looking for somewhere around 15 and 13, somewhere in this area. And more than likely that's where we're heading there. And this W is probably peaked and we're in some kind of X. So anyway, that's what I'm looking at here in those crypto, just a few crypto stocks. And let's take a look at HZN. This was another one we want to keep our eye on if we can. Actually, looks like we have a new connector here, or some kind of triangle. Let's take a look at what's going on here. So the connector is still in play like we had it. Okay, so it's still in play here. So this 576 is still in play if we drop there. How about MicroStrategy, right? Let's look at MicroStrategy. That's been doing well. So that's obviously pulled back. And again, look, guys, we had the buy here. Look, we called the buy here at 443. Essentially went vertical with no pullback, really no pullbacks. Now we're definitely topping out in some kind of 5 waves, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now, like, where's your first dip buy? Again, if I was trying to, necessarily day trade or swing trade it, I'm looking for 111.73, 1047 in this area for either a bounce or the bottom. So it looks like, to me, it looks like crypto does have some more downside when you look at the crypto equivalent stocks. But when you look at Bitcoin itself, it does look like, it could have bottomed and it'll top out. And then possibly when it tops out here and we get this bigger pullback in 4, this higher degree 4, you'll get crypto to finally bottom out here, everything to sync up. The other thing is that we dropped in this 4, we dropped to 58, and then crypto can sync up, and then we can really run again. So we have to wait and see what the market wants to do in Bitcoin and crypto. Okay, how's natural gas playing out? So this 2 is still valid and viable. We'll have to wait and see what happens. And that's really it. I think that's all I want to say today, guys. So that's the market, guys. I think, again, I wouldn't be too bearish on the market. I think the market is going to shock people by going higher before it goes lower. And when I say higher, we have not had the 3 of 3 separation. If you really look at this correction from down since December, you have a lot of people top ticking the market, calling the bottom, and you know who you follow, you know who you are, and you may be even watching me right now. And guys, you can't just call the bottom unless you're trying to day trade and take those profits, right? So if you're you're getting blown up, and here we are again, and more than likely you'll be blown up, and at some point you'll get that capitulation, the real gap up and run, and then you'll get the 4s and 5s, and then that's it. We don't have that sign. The shorts have not given up yet, despite that the sentiment seems pretty negative. The bullish. I'm sorry. There's still a heavy short interest in this market, and they're kind of top ticket. Perhaps maybe this is even Aladdin losing control of the stock market. Perhaps Aladdin always is used to just comfortably dropping the market at will, and they're not able to do that anymore, just like gold and silver. And Aladdin's losing control. The market maker that manipulates this market, that I think it goes on, that we all just kind of benefit from by being on the same side as the trade. I believe that's why the market is not behaving in a way that people have expected or has seen in the last 4 or 5 years of trading. It's a lot of comments of people saying that the markets are doing things it's never done before. You know, we haven't had a 2% pullback in the longest streak ever in the history of the market, things like that. Those are wave 3 of 3 types of statistics, which you see. But that's because whoever was in control of the market for this period of time down in here, and then even down in this area that was controlling it, was able to come in and drop it, come in and drop it, and they're not in control of the market. They've lost control of the market. Those sellers are lost control. The buyers are gaining control and more confidence, and you'll eventually see that reflected in price with a massive gap up and then a run, and then eventually your 4s and 5s, and then you get the top that everyone wants so bad. But unfortunately, the market never crashes when everyone says it's going to crash or thinks it will. That's all I got today, guys. Bye-bye.